This morning, we're going to roll out with the holds and the sells for round 13 of NRL Fantasy first. We're going to get a scoops video, and then following all of the Origin madness, there may be injuries and different things like that. So I'll wait for the best buys video because a couple of guys could pop up in that section there. And if there are any injuries, you know that they're clearly on this list. We have that extra day as well. So best buys out tomorrow morning, and holds and sells and scoop today. Now, with this section here, I knew it was going to happen too. I put out a little TikTok. Check out either TikTok or Instagram, guys. Fantasy Jamie. I'm trying to grow those platforms, so I'd appreciate that even if you just went on, hit follow. Even if you don't jump on there and watch that stuff, it'd really help me and help the growth of this platform. That'd be awesome. So thank you for that. But I actually spoke about, I was like, please don't go and sell Adam Fanua-Blake. I know he's going to be high on the footy statistics sell list, and he is at 1.15. It's only Dylan Egan, who's out for the entire season, who is more sold than him. So I thought that was pretty wild. We go through this who's not list, and then we'll add a few other guys that either lesser owned or haven't been sold as much that I think you can have a little look at as a potential sell. Now, Adam Fanua-Blake, first on that list, 706k. Break even isn't even that high because he's coming off an 80 a few weeks ago. He went 70 into 37 into 52. Yes, they're not as beautiful. 80 into a 43. And it's a little bit up and down, but round 15, I've got him as like number 2 or number 3 on my best mids list. And one of them is Couchman, and he's coming back from an injury this week. So I think Adam definitely should be held. No ifs, buts about it. Just keep him in your side. I understand he's on the bye this week, but you have 1,000 middles that you can cover. So need to hold. Nafahu White's a different story. Now, he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks. One, definitely with the bye, and he misses this week too. Now, this week, it doesn't matter so much, but round 15 is where you need him to play. Now, if you're sitting there with only one mid, yes, maybe you're trying to, you might just have White only as a mid for round 15. Let's just say you have Jazz as well. He's going to cover for hooker. You need 2 more mids. Now, selling White gets you to 0. Yes, you might be selling him to Colin Matangi, but you still need 2 more from that. And the question is going to be, how many trades do you have? What can you do in that position? And White can definitely help. Although he isn't the best middle for round 15, he's in that top 5 or 6. So Nafahu White, he's in my team currently. If something comes up perfect, then I'm okay selling him. And you should be as well. But if you don't have anything that's clear cut this week, if you have other guys that you're like, well, they're kind of done serving a purpose in my side, then you can sell them instead of White. No problems. Jackson Purdue, he's on that list as well, like 0.8, 0.9% sold. Coming off the lowest score, I'm surprised the Drinkwater isn't on that list then. If, it takes a 20. Purdue beat Drinkwater last week. I don't know why, or 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure why Drinky isn't on this list, but I'm glad he wasn't. So 22 for Jackson. Yes, he made a lot of tackles. He missed a few as well. Didn't get to run the footy in this one, and did kick for a little bit as well. Now, they got absolutely smashed, and they were terrible. Now, if you're selling him up against the Tigers, this is a game he could get 50 plus, 60 plus. Yes, a decent break even, but when you're priced at 40, if you have the chance to go 50, 60, 70 in a game, in a half position where you can be very well involved, I think that would be a mistake. Yes, he could come out and score poor, and if he does and he doesn't look great, then selling into the Tigers one would be fine. But he's also center, and he should... there's a decent chance of getting half dual. If that's the case, they play every single one of these bye games. And we know that, rounds like round 19 could be harder. Round 18 and 15 you got available for Jackson as well. I think he's a clear hold. Starling, he's in a different boat. I think he is getting ready to sell in fantasy. I had a look at him in Supercoach, given I own, and I just feel like the position's really poor. Whereas this one here, if you don't have Jazz, I think you just go straight to him. There's also some other options potentially in like an Appy Coruscant. Maybe you don't need a hooker and you can just use him to upgrade to the Aitkins, the Colos, Drinkwaters, all these types of guys that we'll mention in the best buys video. So there are plenty of options for Starling, and I think that would be the correct play this week, is to move on from him. You can loop potentially. Maybe that helps you loop in the hooking position. I have Clark, I have Jazz, and I have Riley Smith as well. So there's definitely a good strategy to potentially hold him and loop that position as well, given I imagine you've got a few decent mids in your side and you might be bringing in some more. Horsburgh, 669k. Yeah, with him coming off a sin bin game. Prior to that, he's only had, 3 games under 50 all season. And that's, a lot of games there. He's only, hasn't missed, just all but one. He's played all but one game. So 11 games so far and 3 games under 50. And his lowest score was, was in round 9 in 43, but a 44 for him on the weekend was his second lowest score. So I think he'll generally be fine. He didn't have any offloads on the weekend. He'll probably go back to that. And this will be a fun clash against the Roosters. So long term, yes, I think he's fine to sell and to upgrade given the buy situation. They haven't had one yet. He misses 15, 19, and 24. Even just missing the 15 and the 19 is enough because 15 will be harder for mids. You can just straight swap him. Do you sell him this week? Look, you can. He could also come out and score similar to who you do trade him to. Yeah, we're expecting Koloamatangi and these sides to improve upon where Horsburgh is and be a better option. Yes, but a week-to-week scorer, it could be anything. All the way up until round 19 when they both have a bye, Koloamatangi is going to be the better scorer. So Horsburgh, fine to sell. I've had a few questions around him. If there aren't that many sell options in your side, then I think he can be one that you can move on from, given break-even differences, potential scoring differences as well, and the better buy schedule. Rather, selling now rather than a little bit later. Now, Tamale, similar situation with him. Kind of done with exactly what we need from him. Round 18 could be helpful, but we don't really need him for the next little bit. I still have him as a starter in my side. I don't have to, but that's Fletcher Sharp in half. I could move him down, but who do you select to sell or to move on or not play out of Yongi, out of Garrick, and who I now have, and then Tamale as well. So I think he's fine. He's averaging 40 for the year. Generally, when he scores a try, he's great. Still got 39 without a try on the weekend, so that was really solid. Can't complain with that. It's Roosters into Rabbitohs before a buy, so you could sell him around 15. You could also upgrade him now. He's at a really, really nice price at 512 to make that decision. I'd definitely sell him easily before Horsburgh if it wasn't position dependent, but he helps you out down there, and you can loop in center if you like this week as well. Hubner at 425, he is just in a situation where if you want to, you can just hold up until 15, and if things go awry, if there's problems in your side for round 15, he's going to come in and do a decent job there. He's got 30s in his play now, and with the other guys like Koloamatangi playing bigger minutes in the middle, I'm not expecting him to go well above 40 minutes anymore, but generally he should be okay for a 30 odd, and that might be enough in that midsection in round 15, like it was with Hopway for people who did buy this week. Okay, Nico Hines on the sell list, apparently coming off a 45. Before that, 51, 56, 60, 59, 51, and 55. All above 50, all really good scores. He's priced at 52. He's doing his job. He's actually averaging higher than where he's currently priced at, so at 45 doesn't do too much. Comes back to Warriors, which will be a decent clash. Dragons into Broncos into Melbourne, so it's not spectacular. He does miss round 18, but round 15, you're going to play him, and you're going to want him as one of the better halves in your side. Yes, Katoa is going to be the guy, number 1, but number 2 and number 3 could be Hines. Yes, there's Campbell and stuff. You probably play him in wing fullback, so you clearly hold him. Blake Brayley, if you do own Blake, he's averaging 40, just under 49, and yes, he's gone a couple of low ones, 45 and 41, but guys like Wade Egan scored that 38 on the weekend. And with Blake, yes, he misses this week, but again, you could probably use him as a looper. If you don't have another hooker, then just buy Jazz from another way, and you can play Jazz in your mids in round 15. That would be fine, and hold Blake for that one, and he can help you in that. And if you still don't like what you see come round 18, then you can sell. But if you bought him for a reason, knowing that he's going to be a 40s and low 50s guy. It's exactly what he's provided, so don't sell. Isaiah Katoa, this would be a massive mistake. I'm seeing him traded out by sort of 0.3, 0.4. Hold off on this one. He's averaging 58. He is the best round 15 a half option. Yes, Campbell's there, but he's likely going to be your wing fullback. So I'd make sure to keep hold of Katoa. I'm actually personally looking at maybe buying him next week or the week after. He does have a buy in round 18 and round 21, so be aware of that. But the round 21 is just him with the Dolphins out and Herbie if you own as well. So silly mistake for Katoa to be sold, in my opinion. Halasima at $4.95. He is someone that you can sell. Move back to the bench now. I feel like he's done a job for you, and out of all the people on this list, I'd have him as a sell first, just because he probably doesn't help you anymore. You're not going to play him in these round 13 or round 16 or round 19 weeks, most likely. Misses round 15 and 18, so ready to go. Averaging, over the last 3 weeks, when he's been playing massive minutes, he's just a little bit over 40, so it's just fine without being crazy good. Reed Marnie, I wanted to mention him as well. Looks like there's potential news around him losing some minutes, losing his spot, told that he can leave, or told that he can negotiate with other clubs. Hayward, is he going to be playing 7? Is Hayward going to be playing 9? There's lots of questions here. For now, you hold. He was doing really well before last week, 56, 49, and 45. So hopefully all is good for him and he can play around 15. If it's getting a bit sour from there, 16 would be the sell for Reed. He's not at a crazy high price and he was performing better than where he's priced at up until last week. Now, Wade Egan, 53 average, but just had his tough one on the weekend. Before that, 50 and 49. He lost a few minutes the week. On the weekend, he actually got the 80 back and unfortunately just the 38. So in the last 4 weeks, he has a high score of 50 and 2 scores just under 40, which is tough. But still think if you've bought him, you just stick solid with him. He still has a high chance of getting a 50 plus. He has a couple of 70s this year, so an annoying one. But again, you knew what you were getting into with Wade. He's never been a perfectionist in his scoring. 499k for Riley Smith. Now he's an interesting one. We just got some news that Papali Joash was meant to be taking a few minutes from Riley at 9, and a few people are panicking on that one. Look, he got 72 minutes in round 9 and got 54. He got 38 and 70 minutes a couple of weeks ago with just lower tackle numbers. He is racking them up. But if he is to play 70 minutes and it's a very normal back and forth game, he can still get 40 plus with a break even really low under 20. I think he's a very clear hold, at least for the next 2 weeks, at least for this week, minimum, and then potentially 2 more weeks, and then you could sell in round 15. That's the target for me. Maybe trying to get Riley Smith up to like an Isaiah Katoa or something like that could be fun in my team. Just on general thought now. But yeah, he's a guy that I think you will eventually move on, but it doesn't have to be this week. Again, if he's your only guy that you feel like you want to trade, then you've got a really good team. But yeah, you could do, but I just feel like whoever you're trading him to, they're probably going to make the same amount of money. Yes, they might score more, but yeah, I don't know. Tough one. McInnes, 692k for some reason. He's on the sell list as well. When I say for some reason, it's the buy. But he is like 3rd, 4th on my list as best middles in round 15. So clearly hold. Liam Henry out for 2 weeks. You bought him last week probably, but you can just move on. Got 39. Sin bin, HIA. Now he's out for 2. Just move on from him. He misses 15 and 18. So hasn't worked out that experiment, sadly. Leo Thompson there. He is at 618k. I've got him on my list as well for round 15 mids. And now that he's finally back, he has actually had a little bit of a rest. So you could probably expect him to go back to some decent minutes there. Yes, he played 43 minutes in round 8 and 40 in round 10. But before that, he was into the 50s and 60s. Adam Elliott's out. So I think Leo goes back to some decent minutes there and probably rewards you for holding this long and dealing with his issues with HIA and the gastro. So price of 46 can definitely hit 50s for you. So I think hold at this point. Britton Nikora, the tough hold. Sorry, Mitchy. I keep giving you shit about it. But yeah, in a position right now at 527k, price at 39, where we know he can be a 50s guy. So you'd feel very annoyed, very frustrated. Actually, can't believe, Mitchy, you jumped on this after dealing with Ponga for so long. To see this guy hitting 30s and 40s and 28 apparently in round 8. 31 and 28 the last 2 weeks. That is just a tough buy, unfortunately. After going back to a pretty good week there, 53 with just a line break. It was like, oh, maybe he's back. 3 offloads, and then he's just gone back to poor work, 7 missed tackles. So I still think at this point you hold and see how he's looking round 15. Hopefully he's improved a bit, and if he has, then you've got a nice cheaper asset doing a job. Sandon Smith at 456k in the halves. We're going down through those positions now. He can help in round 15. Look, if you need someone like that, sweet. Otherwise, I think selling is completely fine. Like, he'll do solidly in the 30s and 40s. Is that something you want right now, or are you ready to move on from that one at 456 with, you know, a normal break even? Not really going to make too much cash this week unless he goes 70 again, and we'll just do a job. You know, do you want that type of player, or are you ready to move on from it? Brimson, a few people asked about him as well. What do we do with him? There's still a good chance he goes back to fullback. He only picked up 35 with that runaway try assist there, with the line break try assist. He's in a position where holding is completely fine. He's up against Melbourne, Broncos, and Manly over the next 3 weeks. Now, Manly, they might smack him in that week. If you feel like you might need him in half or wing fullback come round 15, hold. If not, selling is fine because he's at a good price. Savala in my team, I'm thinking pretty good chance he makes it all the way to 15, and then we decide there. Probably out of the side by that point, but if he's not, he could help us out as a looper. But I think as a looper next week in round 14 is more my play. Get the cash rise this week, survey the land next week, use him as a looper, given I'd have him and Siwa Wong out personally, or Nafahu White as well. If we hold on that long, we'll see what's happening with injuries and where we're at, and decide from there. That's my theory with Savala, and I think you should do the same thing. Burbo, he's back this week after that really good score into the sickness. Low break even, hold strong, loop, play, whatever you want to do there. Tom Jenkins, easy time to sell from him. Misses 15-18. Done his job. Break even's not too high, not too low. It's fine, but I think if you want to sell this week at 451k, if you've got cash available, awesome. Get into it. Ponga, kind of spoke about him in the Origin section, but I think with him priced at 38 right now, if he gets through and he actually plays this week against the Dragons, I think he's got plenty of motivation too. The team's struggling, and Fletcher Sharp just came out in his position and crushed it. So we'll see how that one plays out. But I think at this point you do hold, unless he looks to be out, gets an injury, something like that. Iongi is in my side as well. Nice low break even of 15, and yes, the break evens hadn't updated on here. And they're always pretty close, guys. And when I say it's under 20 or it's near 15, it means it's pretty close. I know there's a couple of sites out there that do it really well, but as long as it's close, that's fine. We don't need exact, for the most part. We don't need exact, thousands of dollars that we need. We can do some planning, but most of the time, if it's within a few thousand, I probably wouldn't take the risk and leave that much, and you can hit and hope. But Yongi there, 471k. Good score last week, looked really good. Didn't look great the week before against the Knights, 23. We'll see who backs up from Penrith as well. So if there's any injuries or anything from that one, as to if that game gets a little bit easier, but it is up against last place. It looks like they're pretty full strength, Penrith, and that could be a bit of a worry, but I think I'm just going to have to play him straight up. He's got a 53 and a 64 in 2 of the last 3 weeks. Just that low 23 when I did play him a couple of weeks ago, and the 18 etched in my memory. But yeah, an easy hold as well. And then Turbo, missing the 1 week, but is a good round 15 scorer. Has Knights next week. Titans in round 15, where he's really cheap and will help you in wing fullback and potentially could go really well. Has a bye wedged in there is Tigers and Rabbitohs as well. So an easy one to keep in your side this week if you did buy last week. So we'll leave it there, guys. That's the holds and the sells for round 13. Expect Scoops video a little bit later, and then my best buys tomorrow morning. Good luck tonight. Enjoy Origin and go the Blues.